What we do here is go back.
Okay, we're here with Sky's foot soldier for the North East, Steve Wraith, here ahead of the big show on Saturday. It's looking like a great show, some good fights on there, some big names on there. Steve, what's it like to be a part of this?
It's great. We've had a few interviews over the last, couple of months now about this, and we've had a couple of cups of coffee, which I'm glad to say you've paid for.
Yeah.
And it's been great. I mean, I can't praise matchrooms, backroom staff enough. There's a lot of people who don't get mentioned, who've been a great help with me and Danny Cox up in the North East, putting this show on. And our job's been simple. We had to sort out the undercard, and obviously with Bradley going off, that was the first crisis that we had. It was a horrendous injury. Obviously a different hand to the one that he's had trouble with, and
I suppose that's a good thing, really.
Yeah. But I mean, obviously we wish him well. Hope he recovers. But that was crucial, because Eddie rang us up and said, who do you recommend to step up to the plate? And from our point of view, there was only one man. It was Anthony Nelson, and we knew Anthony done well with his tickets, so that was a no-brainer. But to get him an opportunity like the one he's got now to fight with for a Commonwealth title is fantastic. And he's done really well with his tickets. He's going to have a great crowd. We know what they're like, because I always remember like his fans at especially at the Stadium of Light on Phil's Summer Rumble a few years back,
and also at Shields
as well. They're up on their feet, they're singing, they're dancing. We know all about the Barmy Army and Peter Cope, but Nelson's got his own merry band of supporters, and they'll raise the roof on Saturday night. So him getting that step up is fantastic, and I think from my point of view that was a no-brainer, and Eddie's delighted, I know that. And then you look at the Dickinsons, we know they sell tickets, we know they've got support. By his own admission at the press conference there, it is a last chance saloon for John Lewis, but this is a chance for Travis to get back in the ring as well, after his bad injury. So they've done well with their tickets as well. So our job is bringing together an undercard. It has been simple, but there's been a lot of help from Matchroom, and some great help from Eddie, because I still can't get over the fact that I'm sitting watching him on television 1 minute on ringside, or I'm sitting watching him talking about who De Gale's fighting next, or is Carl Frock going to have a fight, and then next thing he's ringing me up and saying, right, what about Geordie Rowe? And he's got his attention to detail is fantastic, and I just know we're working with the right people, and the fact that Eddie's going to come back to the North East, he's already mentioned that meet today. He's going to come back up later in the year. It means our job's been done, and done well.
Yeah, well, it's obviously just hopefully come back in October when maybe we're talking about and things, but this show on Saturday, some big names on there. I think the fact that Big AJ is coming into town, it just creates its own buzz. Just the fact he's coming to the casino today, you can see all the people at the door wanting photos taken with him and things like that. But on top of that, you've also got the Sky Cameras, brings its own atmosphere. And then you've also got, as you mentioned before, certain fighters that we've got on there with big armies of fans in big fights. In big fights as well. So it's like, it's all set up. I'm just happy to be there.
It's set up really for a great day of boxing, and I think I've seen a few negative comments, and certain people doubting that, the fans were going to get value for money, almost like, pleas from various people saying don't shortchange the North East fight fan. But I don't think they've been shortchanged when you look at the bill. I think when you look at Dickinson against Simmons, Nelson fighting for the Commonwealth title, and Anthony Joshua coming back, making his comeback after a 5-month layoff, I think they have got value for money. There's a cracking undercard there. You've got two great debutants in Lewis Ritson and Jeff Saunders. You've got I still think Nelson against Wilson will steal the night. I still think that will steal the night.
Competitive fights in there. You've got some big names on there, like Stephen Smith fighting on there, which is
Simon Vallely,
and
Jordan
the guy
King.
He's fighting is an interesting fight as well.
I think when you look at it, it's a cracking undercard. I can understand where some people are coming from, but I've been to some of the big fights, up there, which have been damp squibs. They've been disappointments, and the atmosphere hasn't been great, because one in particular I'll always remember, Nigel Benn against Sugar Boy Malinga. Nigel would have loved, and I'm back on the road with Nigel. I'm back on the road with Nigel doing a couple of after dinners in the next couple of months, and he just really regrets that night, where he didn't get a chance to really showcase his talent in front of the fans that he loves.
Yeah.
But that I think that's in people's minds. I think filling a fight card like this with a big name like Anthony Joshua, but with a supporting cast of local fighters, will be much better for the atmosphere. And I think it'll just show that North East Boxing's arrived and announced, and for having these fights live on Sky. I think I think it'll just showcase what we've got in the area, and I think Sky will be over the moon with it. Eddie's definitely happy with it, and I think Anthony Joshua will probably come back as well once he's experienced the Geordie Row.
Well, I think obviously the guy he's fighting is very interesting as well, because there's certain parallels there. He fought Deontay Wilder and he managed to go 4 rounds with Wilder, so it's just natural people are going to be making comparisons with how Anthony does against him.
50 fights as well, 50 professional fights for the lad. So, Jason Gavin isn't an amateur here, he's been around the block. I think Anthony Joshua mentioned it in the press conference that, it's a tough opponent, he's going to be tricky. Jason Gavin, of course, said that he'd seen that there was odds out there from getting knocked out in 15 seconds, and he laughed at that. But, it's a learning curve for Anthony. We've got to remember he's not a champion, but he's not a champion yet. I think we all know he's going to be. But this is just a unique opportunity for North East fight fans to be able to see somebody of his calibre at an early part of his career. And I just genuinely think that if we can continue in the same vein as we have over the last 6 months with Matchroom, that, give or take the next couple of years, I think we'll see more big names coming and wanting to fight on Tyneside and experiencing, the crowd up here, because they're knowledgeable fight fans. They love the big fights, love the atmosphere. And if we can continue to create future champions up here, then they're always going to come back, and there is plenty out there. As I say, Lewis Ritson and Jeff Saunders, at the very start of their careers here, but I think you can expect big things from both of those fighters over the next few years.
Well, I think the 2 arena shows that we had last year, obviously the way the Stewie Hall and Martin Ward fight ended, it's sort of a damp squib at the end, and it did make it tough. But in terms of the atmosphere at those shows, I think it's going to be a completely different atmosphere on Saturday.
It's an exciting one, because I think, Sky and Matchroom, they have the same as effect as Peep magazine when the camera comes in. It's one of those things that people genuinely do get excited when they see a camera. We've talked about this before. It's like, wow, look at the setup and all that. But I think with it being Sky and it's live on Sky, it's showcasing the area. I think once the local authorities, the council and things see how well it's going, I think it'll open the doors for maybe bigger events and better events.
Anybody wanting to go down, are there still tickets available?
Still tickets available, yeah. I mean, today's been an important day. We've seen what the lads have got. There's some ticket returns have come in. I think it says it all, though, when Anthony Nelson turns up and says, I haven't got any tickets to give you back. I think that's a great sign. So, we know where we're at. It's been a big success. We can comfortably say that this is the biggest show that they've had in the North East, probably since, the days of Nigel Benn and that, surpassed the Stewie Hall and Martin Ward show, which is great. The maximum attendance for the show was 6,500, and I don't think they're far off capacity, so that's great. And, it's just going to be an electric atmosphere, and I think everybody's looking forward to it. I am.
I can't wait.
I'm just glad as well. Another thing with Matchroom is that, when they asked me about what I thought we should put at the table, it was using the local lads. And I'm not talking fighters here, I'm talking the people behind the scenes, and pleased to say that we managed to get Colin Innes, Paul Charters, two ex-champs in the region. They're going to be the house seconds, and Andy Wild and Spud Woollett, who do a fantastic job as whips, weren't in the frame early doors, but we persisted and pushed, and said, look, these are the lads who do it. Even if you can just get them on for the undercard, it would be great. And Matchroom again have allowed those lads to work. So for me, that's important, because we're all a team up here. Whether it's people like yourselves covering it, whether it's people like me, Phil and Mark Closell who are promoting it, or whether it's the fighters in the ring, or the lads who are doing the corners, or the trainers, or the managers, whatever.
One big team.
It's one big team up here, and if we're all pulling together, then we're going to have bigger and better nights up here over the next few years.
Well, I'm all about working together and getting on.
I know that.
Steve Wraith, the story continues.
Kofi
I shall see you
Annan.
tomorrow.
Kofi Annan, thank you very much.
I'm going to put a suit on. I'm going to have to try and compete.